From the KBVR TV studio on the campus of Oregon State University, this is the Beaver Sports Show.
Welcome back to another exciting term of the Beaver Sports Show. I'm your host, as always, Audrey Wiltz, and I'm excited to have with me again Alex Crawford and Jacob Nokes. How are you doing, guys?
It's great to be back. I'm excited for another term.
Yeah, I got replied to on Twitter today by my favorite pro basketball player, Reggie Evans. So obviously a good omen for the upcoming season of Beaver Sports Show. I'm really excited.
Yeah, this term we are switching it up. We've got some all-new segments and some surprise guests. But for today's show, let's get to it. To start us off, the OSU men's wrestling team hosted a match against Stanford this weekend. Here's Morgan Bowman and Scott Marson with the highlight.
Hello, Beaver sports fans. I'm Morgan Bowman, and I'm here at Gill Coliseum to watch the 10th-ranked Beavers take down the Cardinals in tonight's match.
After the 10th-ranked Oregon State men's wrestling team slaughtered the Stanford Cardinals at Gill Coliseum Saturday night, the Beavers' overall stats moved to 5-3 in the NCAA and 2-1 in the Pac-12 in this 2012-2013 competition. On this Saturday night, the Beavers won 8 out of their 10 weight classes. This was the Beavers' third straight win in a row, and after a 125-pound weight class, OSU went for 19 unanswered points, putting them 19-3 over the Cardinals. After Scott Sakaguchi's one and only pin of the whole match, he pushed the Beavers to achieve a 32-6 victory. I truly believe that the Beavers are on their way to win a national title this year. With more highlights in sports, this is Scott Marson for KBVR Beaver Sports Show.
Tonight, the Beavers clearly dominated the Cardinals with more reversals, takedowns, and escapes. I'm Morgan Bowman reporting here live at Gill Coliseum with more information in sports. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Morgan. Well, it's been a tough start for the OSU men's basketball team. It's looking a little rough out there for conference play. They're 0-5 right now, 10-8 overall. What do you guys think they need to do to turn this around?
Well, I think the main thing that they need to do is execute on offense. I mean, overall in the game, if you talk to Coach Robinson, that's what he'll say. But obviously, that's a very broad answer. More specifically, when you look at the first 5 minutes of the second half, the Beavers are coming out. They're getting outscored 55-28 in the first 5 minutes of the second half in their 5 Pac-12 games, which, as you noted, they're 0-5.
Yeah.
During that time, the Beavers are shooting less than 30% field goal percentage. So pretty much every second half, Beavers are coming out stagnant. The other team's able to either increase their lead or take the lead. And then obviously when the Beavers do start shooting better, start executing, it's too little too late.
It's too late, yeah. I think in the preseason, you know, people were kind of on the edge about how this year's team would be. They were like, oh, can they do it? And we saw little glimpses of how good we can be. But then, you know, Pac-12 play started and we just fell apart. What do you think, Jacob?
Well, like Alex said, the stats are low. And I think that's for 2 reasons. One is leadership. We had Jared Cunningham last season, and this year we don't have him anymore. So who's going to be our leader? Is it going to be Ahmad Starks? I mean, we don't really have a leader at this point. And another thing is consistency. I mean, like you said, we have flashes of being excellent. We play great ball. We move the ball around. We can score. And then we'll go through stretches where we can't play defense. We can't score. I mean, we can't do anything. And, I mean, we got to figure that out, leadership and consistency.
Well, the Pac-12 is much improved this year, and you have to play a full 40-minute game if you're going to want to win games. Beavers really haven't put together a full 40-minute game.
Yeah.
To add on to that stat, like I said, they've been outscored 55-28 in the first 5 minutes of the second half. In Pac-12 play, they've been outscored 31-15 in the first 3 minutes. So, I mean, I don't know if there's halftime adjustments that need to be made or if there's halftime adjustments that just no one's making them. Something needs to change. Like you said, leadership, no one has really stepped up. Ahmad Starks actually, in the previous game against USC, only attempted 1 shot. That's the first time in his whole OSU career he's only attempted 1 shot.
Yeah.
So something's going on with him. Something's going on with the whole team.
I mean, we talk about the team, and I know that there was a little controversy with some players. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but 0-5 now. Like it's time for someone to step in, and I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a coaching issue, or I mean, should we be worried about Craig's job? Or?
Craig's not worried. I don't think anybody's. I mean, we might be worried that he's definitely coming back another year as Beaver fans, but at the same time, I mean, his job is guaranteed next year. And I think, is it coaching? I think it could be coaching because obviously halftime adjustments aren't being made.
Yeah.
Let's let the season play out. Then let's talk about putting Craig Robinson on the hot seat. But right now, I don't think Bob DeCarolis is even thinking about cutting the rope with Craig Robinson. Although it is the worst start in Robinson's career to Pac-12 play.
Something's got to give. All right, so the women's basketball team, on the other hand, has been doing a little bit better. They got 2 wins against the Ducks for the Civil Wars this season. They went to Eugene, got the W, came here this past weekend. The Beavs still got the W. And so we've got some footage from legendary Gill Coliseum. Jeff Lowe is going to tell us a little bit about how the game went.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff Lowe reporting live from Gill Coliseum, where the Oregon State women's basketball team will take on the University of Oregon.
This Sunday, the Civil War took place at Gill Coliseum. The 8-9 Beavers battled the 2-15 Ducks. Tensions were high when these two teams took the court. The Beavers started the game fast, shooting 4 of 5 from the field. Allie Gibson for 3, buckets. Shaquiana Edwards-Teasley with a nice post move here for 2. But the Ducks wouldn't go away easily. Danielle Love hits the 3 to soften the Beaver lead. Allie Gibson tried to answer with a 3 of her own. However, she airballed the attempt. Luckily for her, Patricia Bright is there for the rebound and putback. The Beavers' defense was swarming all night, leading to this fast break score by Courtney Fambro. Allie Gibson would hit 1 of her 3 triples to close out the game. The Ducks tried to mount a comeback, but Samantha Singer would have none of it. Singer had 10 points and 2 blocks in 23 minutes off the bench.
As you can see, the Beavers took care of business, forcing 19 Duck turnovers, resulting in a final score of 68-49 for the Lady Beavers. With highlights for today's game, I'm Jeff Lowe. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jeff. Great win for the Lady Beavers. Hopefully those 2 games will help their momentum for the rest of the season. For those of you in Beaver Nation who did not know, we were lucky enough to have NBA All-Star Bill Walton come to OSU to speak, and Jacob actually got a chance to talk to him a little bit. How was it?
I was. After his long speech he had at OSU, I got to talk and walk with him for a little bit on a one-on-one interview. So
he seemed like a pretty cool guy.
He was a character. I mean, he was always cracking jokes and everything. We had a lot in common because he played for the Blazers in their championship year in 1977.
Yes, he did.
And my favorite team is the Boston Celtics, and he played for them in 1986 with Larry the Legend, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Bill Russell. Oh, excuse me, not Bill Russell. Robert Parrish, Danny Ainge. So all those legends. So we just talked about his glory years and everything about that. So
yeah,
it's really good to talk to a man like that.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of cool things to say, not just about, sports and basketball, but some life lessons, which was pretty good. Alex, did you get a chance to go see him?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah, you had your sports show, huh?
Sensitive subject.
Sensitive subject?
Let's move on.
Okay. Well, we've got to actually we've got some clips of things that Bill said. So roll the tape.
I mean, who would have ever thought that Bill Walton would be addressing a bunch of media students? Are you kidding? When Mike and I first got together, I couldn't say a word. I'm a lifelong stutterer. English is my 5th language after stammering, stumbling, spitting, and stuttering. And so, which is what I lived for, basketball. The most perfect game of all. All you have to do is wait for the opening tip. Basketball, unlike football, which is basically a halfway house between the army and prison, or baseball, which is a bunch of out-of-shape guys standing around, scratching themselves, taking steroids, and waiting for the game of life to come to them. But now, all of a sudden, what are we looking at here? Yeah. Me playing baseball. Now, see, that's the way life works. The lightning bolt flash of inspiration that's searing across the smoking crater that's my mind, it just became crystal clear to me that moment. And it dawned on me that when you're 6'11", have red hair, big nose, freckles, a goofy, nerdy-looking face, you can't talk, and you're a deadhead, having been to now more than 835 Grateful Dead concerts, that television is the only career possibility to pursue. At the end of the line, when I was forced to stop 6 years ago because my spine failed me, at the end of the line, I was named one of the top 10 pundits in all of media. I was named one of the top 20 sports business representatives around the entire globe, and I was named one of the top 50 sportscasters of all time. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And now I'm back in the game of life, and I'm chasing it down one more time. And I'm indeed the luckiest guy on earth, because I got a chance. I got a chance to do something. And one of the things that I've been doing as I've now getting back in the game of broadcasting, back and listen to that music as well. And there's a great new album out, Neil Young, Psychedelic Pill, of which I encourage a daily consumption of the album. The 7-point creed. Make each day your masterpiece. Drink deeply from all sources of knowledge. Make friendship a fine art. Prepare for the tough times that are sure to come.
All right, well, it really was great to have a guy like Bill come to our school and speak. I really enjoyed it, and Alex, I'm sorry, you couldn't be there. You can just watch that clip over and over again if you want. But anyway, let's ignore that and let's get to football a little bit. I know we've been away from it. We had the holiday break in between. We kind of took a break from the show, but let's carefully talk about the bowl game for a second. Jacob, Alex, what are your thoughts?
Well, the bowl game was rough. I mean, the first half was excellent. I mean, our defense, I think 4 out of the first 5 possessions, we held them, the 3 and outs. And but our offense did not take advantage of those turnovers. I mean, Vaz had a couple picks in the game, and he also had a fumble. And we were only up 20-10 at halftime, but really it should have been like 33-10, maybe even 37-10. I know we missed that field goal at halftime. Riley thought he had the first down, but he probably should have taken the timeout regardless. So that was a coach's mistake. And then in the second half, I mean, our defense looked tired because they were on the field so long. And also, Okafor just took over. That's their defensive end. I think he had 4 solo sacks by himself. And our offense had no rhythm. Vaz couldn't get out of the pocket, and he got sacked every time. So it was a disappointing loss, but
yeah, absolutely. I mean, a huge disappointment, especially when you look at the game as a whole. The Beavers definitely outplayed Texas all the way up until the end of the fourth quarter. So, you know, when people ask me, how was your trip to San Antonio? I was fortunate enough to go to the game. I told them I had a great time. It was a great host city. It was a fun time. Everything except for about the last 5 minutes of the game was a great time. But like you pointed out, Jacob, Alex Okafor absolutely wreaked havoc on our offensive line, particularly the right side of the offensive line. Going into that game, he only had 10.5 sacks on the year, got 4.5 in that game.
Added to his stats.
I mean, so he almost had half a season worth of sacks in that game. And offensive execution in the fourth quarter, like you said, defense was getting tired. And you point out a lot of little things that happened that, like, for example, the field goal situation, the time management situation at the end of the first half, a couple of 3 and outs here and there, a fumble here and there, things that you normally wouldn't pay much attention to, except for when at the end of the game you realize, wow, that little thing came back to bite us in the butt and screw us over. So, I mean, overall as a game, the Beavers outplayed Texas. I was actually getting bored at halftime. I thought the game was in the bag. I thought things were over. But, no, I mean, it was just a disappointing loss for the Beavers, a disappointing loss for the Pac-12 as a whole. I mean, this was a better Beaver team than it was a Texas team, but there's a reason you play all 4 quarters. The Beavers just couldn't match the intensity there. So a tough loss and kind of a bittersweet way to end a great season.
And one more thing, we went away from the running game in the second half. I mean, we have backs like Woods and Agnew and Ward, and you got to keep on handing the ball off to those guys. I felt like we were too pass happy in the second half, and we went away from the run.
I agree. It's the deepest position, in my opinion, on the Beavers depth chart, and you didn't see them running the ball like they did in the first half. And Storm Woods, from the same city as Alex Okafor, Pflugerville, Texas, obviously a good showing for kids from Texas in that game, but Mike Riley got away from him in the second half.
He did.
Yeah, I agree. It was a tough game to watch after such a good season, but I think that there's definitely a lot of lessons there that they can carry over to next season, so that's good. And speaking of next season, we're not going to have a few of our seniors. Jordan Poyer and Markus Wheaton playing in the Senior Bowl. Their first practice was actually televised this past weekend, but what do you guys think about them at the next level? I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. Jordan Poyer at the next level. Markus Wheaton, what do you guys?
Well,
what are
Poyer,
your thoughts?
I think he had one of the best college careers at Oregon State. I mean, you can't argue with that. I think he had 7 interceptions this year, one of the best cornerbacks. But when I look at the NFL, I look at wide receivers like Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, Andre Johnson. I mean, these are all 6'6" beasts. I mean, I don't see Poyer matching up with any of these guys. I think he's going to have to get faster, and I think he's going to have to get stronger, or he's going to have to fade. I think he's going to fade in the NFL if he doesn't get stronger or faster.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that point, Jacob. I mean, Oregon State has a really good history of cornerbacks in the NFL, at least recently. Keenan Lewis, James Dockery, Brandon Hughes, all guys currently in the NFL. Keenan Lewis, they're all a little bit taller than Poyer. Poyer's coming in about 5'11", 6 foot, but he's got the speed. He's an athlete. We saw it in high school. You know, he was took a story to the state championship game. He played baseball his first year here at OSU, so he's a real athletic guy. Returned punts for OSU. I think that athleticism is going to translate to the next level. Also, a lot of teams are looking to run more, pass defenses, a lot more nickel and dime packages, the way that the game's moving on to favor wide receivers. So I think even if he only makes it as a nickel back coming in there on passing downs, I think he'll have longer than the average career in the NFL, which is like 3 years, something around there. I think he'll have more than a 3-year career. And while I don't think he'll be an impact shutdown corner like a Champ Bailey or something like that, I still think he'll make it at the next level.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the Senior Bowl?
I mean, if we want to talk about Markus Wheaton, I just read a blog post today, actually, from today on, what's the website? I'm sorry here. I want to give them credit. NFLDraftScout.com. Rob Rang wrote an article saying, that Wheaton's been one of the standouts so far in the North.
Yes. I mean, he's definitely, look at what he's done at OSU. He's got the records.
I think he's ranked like 60th on Mel Kiper's big board for the draft, so
yeah,
that's pretty high.
Yeah, and he's a top 10 wide receiver coming in. He's an athlete, too, just like Poyer. He finished second last year at the Oregon Twilight Meet, actually beating out DeAnthony Thomas of Oregon, widely noted as one of the fastest players in college football. Beat him out in the 100-meter dash. So Markus Wheaton's got speed. I could see him like you were talking to me before the show, a good slot receiver.
I see him on the good team as that third option. Like, let's say he goes to the Falcons. You got Roddy White on one side. You got Julio Jones on the other. Just think of what Markus Wheaton could do as that third option for Matt Ryan, and you still got Jaquiz in the backfield. So I'm kind of hoping he goes to the Falcons.
You like him on the Falcons.
I really like him on the Falcons. So if anyone from the Falcons is listening, I'd say go after him in the first round.
Yeah, I see him as a bit of like a little bit taller Wes Welker, a slightly smaller Victor Cruz, like you said, a slot guy. He's really fast. He can beat a lot of corners, and I think you look at how fast he is, and you look at how he matched up against players in the Pac-12. He comes out as Oregon State's all-time career leader in receptions on this year. So I think he's going to make it at the next level, and I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him returning punts or kicks at the next level.
True.
Yeah, maybe switch it up for them, but good. I like this. I like you guys got some hopeful. At least Alex does. You feel?
I'm feeling pretty good about Wheaton. I don't know so much about Poyer, but we'll see.
I think they both have to work hard, but I think they can do it.
I see them both going in the second round, most definitely. I don't see them going after that or before. I think they're both second-round guys.
Yeah. All right, well, good luck to the both of them. And we can't have every home game and always report on stuff about us. We do have to travel. And to give us the away sports update this season, we've got Jake McGrady and Logan McGinnis. Take it away, guys.
Welcome back, Beaver Nation. I'm Logan.
I'm Jake.
And we had a busy weekend in Oregon State sports, so let's get to it. The Oregon State men's basketball team, led by Roberto Nelson, had 17 points, but the Oregon State men's basketball team fell to the 24th-ranked UCLA, 74-64.
In Oregon State's next game, they rallied from a 15-point deficit to take the lead, but USC pulled through in the end with a basket in the final seconds to defeat the Beavers, 69-68. Roberto Nelson led the game with 26 points.
And now moving on to women's basketball, Jamie Weisner scored 22 points, which helped Oregon State beat the Ducks 63-53 in Eugene.
On to wrestling, 13th-ranked Oregon State defeated the Wyoming Cowboys 21-12.
And to top it off, the Oregon State gymnastics team, led by Michaela Stambaugh, finished second in the quad meet at Utah. OSU improves to 3-3.
Now back to you guys.
All right, well, thanks for the update, as always, guys. So now it's time for some sports trivia. This term, we're going to do Pac-12 men's basketball instead of football. So We've got some games coming up. I just want you guys to say who is going to win. Oregon versus Washington State.
Oregon, I think they're definitely – oh, wait, you just wanted to say who's going to win.
No, you
Oregon.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Oregon, I think they're definitely an NCAA tournament team this year. Huge win against UCLA on Saturday. I think they win this game. I think they're a lot better than people thought they were.
All right, Jacob?
I have to go Oregon as well. They're 5-0 in the Pac-12 this year. I mean, they've beat UCLA, Arizona, so I have to take Oregon at home.
All right, Utah versus California.
I have to pick California because Utah is just as weak as us.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to say Utah, coming off a big upset against University of Washington. I think they keep the momentum going and beat Cal.
All right, Arizona versus UCLA. Excuse me.
That's a tough one. Two of the best teams in the conference. I still think UCLA wins. I think they bounce back from their loss against Oregon.
Going with the Bruins.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing in Pauley Pavilion, which is huge, especially they just renovated it, did a really great job with that. So I do think the Bruins get the win.
All right.
I'm going to take Arizona in this one. I think they should have beat Oregon. They had a bad first half and came out in the second half and came back, but it wasn't enough to pull it off. But I think Arizona is still the best team in the Pac-12, and they're going to win it in the end, is my guess.
I think they need to step on the gas a little bit if they want to prove it.
This might be the point difference
game. I do agree with you that I think they are the best team talent-wise in the conference, but they shouldn't have beat Colorado. They barely beat Utah, and then they lost to Oregon. So I think they have the talent. I just think that Sean Miller and the Arizona Wildcats need to pump up the octane.
And Shabazz Muhammad is playing better for UCLA
Absolutely,
now. Lost
absolutely.
some weight, so UCLA's tough, but I still got to go with Arizona.
All right, Colorado and Stanford.
I like Colorado. I believe they're at home for this game, so I'm going to take Colorado.
And for you?
Colorado is better than their record indicates. I'm going to go with the Buffaloes.
All right, Arizona State and USC.
USC is I know that they beat Oregon State this weekend, but they're still, in my opinion, the worst team in the conference talent-wise, or at least the way they play. They're a team in turmoil. They just fired their head coach, and I think Arizona State's a team on the rise. I'm going to go with the Sun Devils.
All right.
Yep, like you said, they just fired their coach, and
just kind of messy
I think they're going downhill at USC. Even though they beat Oregon State, I still think they're going downhill, so I'm going to pick ASU.
All right, the big question, can we get our first win in Pac-12 play, Oregon State versus Washington?
No, we do not. I think Washington's going to win this game.
The Beavers.
I think we're going to be 0-6, unfortunately. And I'm going to predict the score. I'm going to say we lose 81-72 at Gill Coliseum.
Alex?
I think we can get our first win if we play a full 40 minutes of basketball, but we won't. Beavers are going to go 0-6. I'm sorry. I know I picked the Beavers in every game this football season to win. I can't do that. I can't do that yet in basketball. I'm the optimist. I can't be the optimist just now. I did go to practice today. They looked like they were practicing really hard. But damn right they should be practicing hard. They're an 0-5 team. Someone needs to lot of fire under their butts and see where they can get going. I think they lose 77-71 on Wednesday night.
All right, well, we're 0-0 for now with you two, but we'll see how the points even out next week. So that's all we have for you tonight. Make sure to tune in next week.